for me, I know Doug and Sandra are the best, but there's other people. We got our cooks over there and our people selling tickets and on the bar. So I really want to thank the Lions Club for hosting this. Also, I want to thank our wonderful karaoke people who we all know. Lori here and her brother Roy, right? What would we do without those karaoke people, you know? So anyway, the real reason we're here today is for Gary, and I just call him my friend Gary. It's hard to believe that our friend Gary left us a year ago this month, so this is totally appropriate. This time, last year, is the last time that I saw him, right here on Canada Day 2015. I met Gary 10 years ago this summer. After moving to Washago, we met him right here at this very place at a Lions event. My friend Lori Killorn noticed Gary first, before I did, and she seemed very intrigued by him, so at the end of the night, we introduced ourselves and invited him back to our place for a drink. That was the beginning of a beautiful friendship. The next day, Gary invited us over to his place for a drink. When I got there and I saw that all year round graveyard, I was intrigued and decided what a great place to have a Halloween party. So I asked Gary if I could have if I had a party at my place, could I bring my friends and guests over to his place for a drink? He could be the judge and the best costume judge. Gary got right into the event and wanted to know if he could wear his Jason mask for the party, and he wanted to hide and come out from behind the shed with a chainsaw. I said to Gary, that would not go over with my friends, so let's just keep it simple and you can dress up as Dracula. The event was a hit. I hired a small school bus for that party to get us to Gary's place and then back to the Lions for Halloween karaoke. Gary just loved the whole event and he talked about it for years. My friends thanked him at the end of the night for decorating his place for Halloween. Gary told them he didn't decorate. This place is always like this. It's called the Hobo Hilton. All Gary's friends love the Hobo Hilton. In the cold months, we would all sit around the wood stove. In the summer, we all enjoyed Gary's huge fire pit. Anyone that was a friend of Gary's would have memories and lots of laughs around one of those fireplaces. There was so much more to Gary than his quirky sense of humor. He had the biggest heart. He would often take us as friends to a show at the casino or score them extra tickets for their friends. I just learned today that he had a nickname around Washago. He was called the Rock Star, and he certainly looked like the rock star. A lot of his friends, he had nicknames. Dancing Jan, who I know is here today. Mad Dog. Wiener. Nuclear Brian, who couldn't make it today. Wiener is here. Where are you, Wiener? Stand up or wave your hand. Skippy. Luscious Lips, which is Sandra from the Lions. Some of my favorite memories of Gary was the year that he turned 55. He wasn't feeling good about that. That same year I was turning 50. So what happened, the day I turned 50, I was out and about, and when I got home to my place, on my front steps I found a birthday card for me, and he had taken an enlargement of a picture of me on his quad. I thought how wonderful for someone to even remember that and put that on my front porch. Then the next month, he turned 50. So my husband and I had a small surprise dinner party for him. Wiener, Wayne, and Paul were at that party. When we sat down to eat, he wanted to do the first toast. Can you remember that, Paul? I will never forget it because it warmed my heart so much. His words were, as he looked up to heaven, I'd like to toast my mom, Helen, because if it wasn't for her, I would not be here today. I had tears in my eyes. I never thought I'd hear that from Gary. Then another time, I took him to church for Father's Day with my friend Sandra. Anyone could get up to say something about their father, and Gary did. He talked about how much he loved his dad and missed him. Another time, him and I were in Barrie, and he wanted to drop by and surprise his sister Joan. We had a great visit, and we ordered some pizza and looked at family photos, and it was a great time. He often talked about his brother Bruce, who I only met once, who couldn't make it here today. I never got to meet his nephews until today, and I know one of his nephews is here, Randy. Where are you, Randy? Randy's right there. I'm not sure if your brother made it yet. Did he?
He's on his way.
He's on his way. So he will also be here, Rick. And I knew that Rick was a police officer, so he'd often talk about his nephews. He loved them. They both wanted to be here, and they will be by the end of the day. They'll both have attended. The most amazing story he ever told me was his love story of his wife, Linda. He never understood why God took her. She was a health nut, and Gary thought, how is this possible? It should be me. One night, I dropped him off after a karaoke, and by the time I had arrived home at 1 a.m., my phone was ringing. It was Gary telling me how much he missed Linda, and he wished she could have been with him that night. As he walked down the driveway, he saw 2 baby raccoons and a full moon. He said that's the kind of aha moments that should be shared with a loved one. She was the love of his life. My last fantastic memory of Gary was his last Christmas here, 2014. He came to my work and he brought me a Christmas card, which I have here today. The night before he came into my work, he watched an old classic movie called A Wonderful Life, which starred Jimmy Stewart. And in that, Jimmy Stewart's daughter said, every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. That was what Gary wrote on my card, the very words. I will treasure this card forever. And he also had a bell in there for me. His passing has affected me as much as when my mother died. He was a dear friend. Now he's up in heaven with his mom and his dad, his wife and his sister. So in the words of Gary Rawlins, let's chill, have another beverage, and remember, every time a bell rings, sorry, I dropped it. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. Can everyone hear the bell? That's for Gary. And I'll have this bell forever. And I know that Lori has something that she wants to say as well.